We gotta talk about the recently released Epstein files. Now, I'm just gonna discuss the portions of the files that have stuck out to me the most. First off, we have Elon Musk begging for an invite to Jeffrey Epstein's island. And it seems like all of Elon's begging finally got him that invite because in an email exchange in 2012 and 2013, in which he discussed visiting Epstein's infamous Caribbean island compound, Musk maintained that he repeatedly turned down the disgraced financier's overtures. He tried to get me to go to his island and I refuse. That is a tweet he posted on X in 2025, which turns out to be a total and complete lie because in the email you can see that actually Elon is in fact the one requesting to visit the island. And to save myself any hardships, I'm just going to go ahead and state anybody that is in these files doesn't necessarily mean that they've done anything wrong. It just means that their name just so happens to be in the Epstein files, and I don't want to get sued. Now, some really concerning photos of Prince Andrew turned up where he's literally bent down over what is presumed to be a victim because obviously they are not blacking out the faces of people who are not a victim in the Epstein files. So this is a victim that Prince Andrew is literally kneeling over. And I'm not sure if this victim is actually with us any longer because if you look at that middle photo of Prince Andrew, it looks like the face of a man who's realized that that person just stopped breathing. I mean, look at the surprise on his face in that middle photo. It seems like this might be the type of blackmail to where they're like, hey, we even have a photo of you bent over a dead you know what. So what do you guys think? Is that kind of blackmail? Do you think that this was that type of photo? Because to me, the body language of Prince Andrew and definitely that look in his eyes when he's in that middle photo, I don't know. Another interesting person was, of course, Prince Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. She's also mentioned in the files quite a few times. And she is very close to Epstein. In March of 2011, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, made a public apology for letting Jeffrey Epstein pay off some of her debts. This was after her and Prince Andrew came under scrutiny for having a friendly relationship with Epstein, who had just literally pled guilty to soliciting prostitution from an underage girl. Just 2 months after this, she emails Epstein stating that she's going on the Oprah Winfrey TV show and wanted his advice on how she should answer those questions about their relationship. I just wanted to make sure you are aware of this and to seek your advice on how you would like me to answer, Ferguson wrote. Epstein replied telling her to say, Jeffrey was unfairly characterized as a pedophile by the tabloid press. Many years ago, Jeffrey pleaded guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. He paid his debt to society and has sought forgiveness. I have nothing more to say. So this whack-a-mole biddy was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And as a matter of fact, there's an email somewhere, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, where she's literally calling Jeffrey Epstein like a brother to her. Give me a break, Sarah. What kind of brother is he? A brother in Christ? You feel so close to this pedophile that you think you might actually be related? That tells me Sarah Ferguson is up to some really sicko stuff, and she definitely knew what Prince Andrew was up to on all those trips to that island. And of course, the nation's favorite child toucher, Donald Trump, was in the Epstein files a lot. The most disturbing find for me and many others is what's being donned as the calendar girls. These screenshots I'm showing on the screen are from the following PDF, which was uploaded to justice.gov on Friday, promptly deleted, and then it was restored hours later that very same day after public outcry. And if true, these are some of the most horrendous crimes that I've literally ever read. Trump, Musk, and other big names are definitely mentioned. So here we go. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children for tightness. The guests were eldermen, including Elon Musk, Don Jr. Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump were there. Like I said, if this is true, this is some of the most horrendous crimes I've literally ever heard of. And I can literally only imagine now he had to have been abusing Ivanka as a child. Trump has said some of the creepiest things about his own daughter Ivanka, especially when she was young. Remember that look at the legs on her thing, and then he called her a hot piece of you know what, and said if she wasn't his daughter, perhaps he'd be dating her.
That if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Your daughter?
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Yeah.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous.
It's
She's
unbelievable.
tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
Aide said Trump, talked about Ivanka Trump's breasts, her backside, and what it might be like to have sex with her. Remarks that once led John Kelly, then White House Chief of Staff, to remind the president that Ivanka was his daughter, Taylor wrote. Afterward, Kelly retold that story to me in visible disgust. Trump, he said, was a very, very evil man.
You have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married, and her father.
And I literally hate when I used to see those edits of Melania Trump and my stomach would just sink. And people are saying that she doesn't know anything and just married Trump for the money. I say the abused becomes the abuser. In one way or another, especially in an environment where it's accepted and expected, yeah, the wives of these men are just as guilty in my eyes, because there's no way you can look at Sarah Ferguson now and tell me that she had no idea where Prince Andrew was going and what he was doing on that island. Another big surprise for me, not the person as so much as his actions, was the Bill Gates file. And I knew that when his wife filed divorce around the time people were whispering that Bill Gates was on the flight log, but he's in there apparently. He had smex with a Russian prostitute and got an STD from it, which he had to get medication for. He also had to get his wife Melinda the medication without her finding out that he cheated. So he planned to drug her with the STD meds. Yep, that's right, y'all. In a July 2013 email with Bill as a subject, in emails Epstein sent to himself in July 2013, as per one email, to add insult to injury, you implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you with antibiotics that you can give to Melinda and the description of your private parts. Another email that is referred to as a draft resignation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where Epstein never worked, by the way, claimed Gates requested to acquire drugs due to consequences of sex with Russian girls and had to support illicit trust with married women. Pretty much, y'all, I was just really shocked that Bill Gates would go as far as to drug his own wife. I mean, he has so much money, he could literally just divorce her. And he did, or she did. All of the files I've seen, I have seen some really creepy and just downright blah photos in these files. There is a photo of 2 raw chickens, and in the middle is what looks like a small person or a child naked and ready to be cooked. This email is an obvious cannibalism joke. The photo itself is actually a piece of art by the artist Harold Seward, who is a macabre artist that's created lots of screwed up images that are similar to this, but none of them are as bad as this one, in my opinion. Another one of the downright stomach churning files that I seen was that one of the Epstein victims was pretty much forced to give birth in what seems like a ritual sacrifice. By the way, this is very Baal worship. This is the stuff that devil worshippers, aka the Baal worshippers, do. Baal requires a great sacrifice from its followers. You decide to take the knee to worship Baal, it's an exchange of sorts. Baal requires blood, but it cannot be your blood. It must be baby's blood. It must be the energy of fear from a baby. No, the baby does not have to be a newborn in these sacrifices to Baal, but I'm sure that these people think that the newer, the more it's worth in the sacrifice realm. This stuff is not hidden. Those that worship Baal are willing to sacrifice children. They must be willing to sacrifice children. It's part of that religion. It's an energy exchange. The baby feels immense fear, and Baal takes that fear. That fear itself, that energy of the emotion, is worth something. Now, as most conspiracy theorists, and I have been on this pizza party train for as long as I can remember, definitely called crazy for it. Most of us are already aware of the elites using the word pizza as a code name for young children. In Epstein's case, I'm assuming that pizza is a code word for young girls. The word pizza is referenced over 900 times in the Epstein files. And the meaning of the word pizza every time is super unclear. Like, it doesn't make any sense to be using the word pizza. Also, when searching the newly released Epstein files, if you search the word baby, here are some of the results you'll get. Here's an email that reads, "There are millions of babies, very little good vegetable cream cheese." Another one reads, "He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut but left no scarring. On the yacht, witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating the feces from the intestines. He was also graped by George Bush I," in which the reply to this email reads, "Thanks, I didn't realize Bush graped him too." Okay. But as you guys know, absolutely nothing is going to happen with this. Most people are more shocked than angry. And even if everybody in the entire nation suddenly became unbrainwashed overnight, what are we going to do? The man's already in power. Fox News has them so hypnotized they can't even realize the political party doesn't even matter. It's the money. It's all of them. It is that level of money. You can only get there by doing these things. It's all of them, and we absolutely have to do something. At the very least, we can't have child touchers that are making decisions that affect so many people. But as always, share your thoughts in the comments.